Hi everyone, and welcome to the sixth webinar of the IBM Digital Nation Africa webinar series. In today's webinar, I'll be introducing you to some basic concepts of data science, and we'll be showing you a demo of how to create and deploy a prediction model using IBM Watson Studio. The model that we will create today will be mainly for predicting employee attrition. The employee attrition rate or employee turnover rate refers to the rate at which an employee leaves from a company due to any normal life circumstances or due to many factors that occur in the workplace for which they are unhappy about. On the other side, it's important to note that for any business, if an employee leaves their company, it can cost them a lot of time and money to train and hire that individual. Therefore, we will try to solve this problem today by predicting if an employee will leave the company anytime soon. My name is Abdullah Taslim, and I'll be your presenter for today. I graduated as a computer scientist in 2017, and I've been working in IBM ever since. My job involves developing and managing content and applications for the IBM Digital Nation platform. The areas that I like to focus on are data science, artificial intelligence, and web application development. Now, before diving into data science, let me give you a brief overview of the IBM Digital Nation Africa platform and show you what we have to offer. IBM Digital Nation Africa is a self-paced learning and innovation platform. This means that you can learn whenever you are free and at your own pace. And once you have learned, you can also start innovating and building solutions with the help of our platform. IBM Digital Nation Africa consists of four main features, which are learn, earn badges, innovate, and find jobs. The learn aspect of our platform offers wide range of courses and tools to help you learn about the latest emerging technologies such as cloud, AI, data science, and explore new opportunities in the real world. Earn badges. For every course that you complete, you will be offered an IBM Digital Nation badge. These badges are verified proof of your achievements, recognized, respected, and valued in the IT industry, and can be included in your CV and shared on social media. Innovate is one of the most differentiating factors of our platform. Apart from giving you badges from IBM, we just don't stop at the theoretical learning aspect. We also give you a wide range of project-based, hands-on courses which will enable you to start building innovative solutions on the IBM cloud. And finally, in the Find Job sections, the platform offers a job advisor tool which is powered by IBM Watson. It will help you search for a job which is the most suited according to your skill set. It can also help you perform skill gap analysis and tell you what courses you need to take in order to further develop your skills. With that being said, let me quickly show you how the platform looks like. I will now switch from my PowerPoint presentation to the web browser where I have the website open. This is the IBM Digital Nation Africa website. And as you can see on the home page, there are four main features of the website that I mentioned earlier. Learn, earn badges, innovate, and find jobs. The three main learning journeys are the Explorer, Innovator, and Newcomer. Explorer is a place where we provide users with short video-based courses that are easy to learn and understand. It introduces the users to the key emerging technologies such as AI, data science, and IBM Cloud, and shows examples of how the technology can be used in today's world. Next is the Innovator section. Here, users can create their own digital solution using our project-based, use case-driven courses. Lastly, we have the Newcomer section, which is designed to offer users the ability to gain key digital skills which are in high demand in the workplace and are in line with the job roles such as web application developer, cloud developer, AI analyst, and data scientist. This section also features our job advisor tool, which I mentioned earlier. We will be focusing on the innovator section today. So let me go ahead to the innovator section. Here you can first get inspired in the Get Inspired section by real examples of innovative digital solutions in the market today. Then you're provided with the IBM design thinking methodology in the design section. And then finally, in the build section, we provide short project-based use case-driven courses which can be leveraged to build innovative solutions. If you click on the left-hand side on the Getting Started with Data Science and Analytics bar, you will find the course that we are focusing on today, Predict Employee Turnover using IBM Watson Studio. Here, you will find all the resources that you will need for today, and if you miss out on any step, you can go ahead to this course and find all the details step by step. You can also check out all the other learning paths that are available on the platform or attend the upcoming webinars based on these learning paths. Now let me switch back to my presentation and continue with Predicting Employee Turnover webinar. What is data science? Data science is the disciplines of extracting knowledge and insights from the available data and then sharing your discoveries with everyone. Data science is now more important than ever because now we are surrounded everywhere by data and more data is being created every single second, whether it's in the emails that we send, the photos we take, or the hospitals that we go to. Almost everything creates data today. According to the recent study done by Forbes, 2.5 quintillion bytes of data is being used every single second. A quintillion has 18 zeros. That's a lot of data. And very little of this data is being analyzed. Have a look at this image on the right. It depicts really well the situation we have in today's world. All the data that is being generated falls into that pile. There's tons of information in that pile that can be utilized if we use the correct tools by the people who have the correct knowledge. That's where the data science aspect comes in. It helps in looking through all this pile, make sense out of this data by finding and analyzing patterns, and this is what we will be doing today. There are three main types of analytics: descriptive analytics, predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics. Descriptive analytics tells us what has happened in the past. It is the interpretation of historical data to better understand changes that have happened in a business. A common example of descriptive analytics would be that a company reports at the end of a quarter of a year. It would run the analysis for the past year using the data that is stored. For a company, it is necessary to know the past events in order to help them make decisions based on statistics for the organization's operations, sales, and finances. Then we have the predictive analytics. This tells us what could happen in the future. It helps an organization to know what might happen next. It predicts future based on present data available right now. Basically, it analyzes the available data and provides statements that have not happened yet. So, for example, you might want to know what will the weather be like tomorrow. It will predict the weather data based on the previous data that it has acquired over the years, and then suggest based on what the pattern tells it to do. Lastly, we have the prescriptive analytics. It tells us what should happen. It combines both the descriptive and predictive analytics to prescribe the best course of action when making complex decisions. Prescriptive analytics not only allows you to make sense of raw data, but also allows you to determine the actions to take now. A common example of prescriptive analytics would be self-driving cars. They have data stored from the past about roads, lanes, signals, and how to deal with certain situations in traffic. And at the same time, they are getting new data about things that are happening around them. Based on all this data, they decide what to do in real life and then take that course of action. This comes under prescriptive analytics. Why should we use Watson Studio? By using IBM Watson Studio, you can choose the tools you need to analyze and visualize data, to cleanse and shape data, to ingest streaming data, or to create, train, and deploy machine learning models, which is what we will be doing today. You can use this single platform for all the things that I've mentioned. It is very easy to learn. We have tons of materials and templates for you to use and learn from. It has a large collection of data sets for you to use, which solves one of the main problems of data scientists, which is to find the right data to use. It has all the tools in one place. The image on the right shows all the different tools the data scientists use and juggle around. It becomes really difficult to bring them together and work on them, especially with teammates. Watson Studio solves that by having everything in a single platform. All computation happens in the cloud. The model that we built today, or the model that we built in general, can get quite heavy in terms of computational power. This type of computational power might not be available to us, so Watson Studio helps us in that regard by handling the heavy load of these algorithms and models in the cloud, which means you can run these models on any laptop, tablets, or even mobile. And lastly, it offers an easy way to integrate this with your web applications, websites, or mobile apps. Here's the pipeline that we generally follow in the data science world and the pipeline that we will be following today. First, we need to get the data and understand what it is about, understand its columns, its values, know what business problem we need to solve. After that, we prepare the data by taking the data and wrangling it, which means transforming the data from one form to another with the intent of making it more appropriate and valuable to use. Then we clean and prepare it, which means removing any unnecessary columns which makes no sense, filling up any missing values, making sure that everything is accurate. This is one of the most important steps in the pipeline. Data scientists spend up to 80% of the time finding and preparing data. Then we create the machine learning model for our prepared data. The machine learning model is basically an application of artificial intelligence that provides systems the ability to automatically learn and improve from experience without being explicitly programmed. Machine learning focuses on the development of computer programs that can access data and use it to learn for themselves using a set of examples. We will look more into this in the next slide. Finally, we deploy the model and then visualize it. There are 4 basic steps that we should all keep in mind: getting the data and understanding it, data preparing and cleaning, machine learning, and deployment. Okay, so what is machine learning? Let me explain the concept by giving you a simple, quick example. I want you guys to think a bit about this example on the left here and give a value. Think of a value instead of the question mark here. I'll give you 5 seconds to figure it out. You can go ahead and pause the video if you need more time. All right, the answer here is 81. Pretty simple really, but I want you all to think how you came up with this number 81. What you did was basically pattern recognition. You know that there is a pattern in the sequence. 3 by 3 gives 9, 5 by 5 gives 25, 7 by 7 gives 49, so you deduce 9 by 9 gives 81. That's exactly the kind of behavior that we're trying to teach to machines. We are trying to teach machines to learn from experience, to recognize patterns based on the data that we give it, and then to make predictions. Machine learning consists of a lot of algorithms that basically use computational methods to learn information directly from the data. The 2 main types are supervised and unsupervised. The supervised aspect of the machine learning finds patterns, and develops predictive models using both input data and output data. There are two types of supervised patterns. Classification is used for predicting discrete responses. For example, whether a football team, let's say Nigeria, will win or lose its next World Cup match. Regression, on the other hand, is used for predicting continuous numeric responses. For example, trend in stock market prices, weather forecast, and so on. Unsupervised algorithms find patterns based on input data. This technique is useful when you're not quite sure what to look for. But we won't dive deep into this part in this webinar. We'll be focusing just on supervised learning. If you want to learn more about the unsupervised aspect, you can take more courses in the new color section of our website. So how do we predict attrition? There are numerous ways to predict attrition and many different attributes that we can leverage. Let's take IBM as an example. Here, every row represents one employee of IBM, and the column represents the attributes that we'll be using to predict employee attrition. These attributes are called the feature columns, and the prediction column, which is the attrition, is called the label column. Here are 5 example attributes that we can consider when predicting attrition. The employee's age, their salary, how far is the distance from the employee's house. Here, to make it easier, we use the numbers to signify how far the house is from their work, with 1 being the closest and 10 being the farthest. If an employee is involved in the work a lot, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. If the employee works overtime or not. Now we have some example data of 2 employees with their attrition values too. So we know if the employee has left the company or not. The first employee didn't leave the company, as the attrition is no. The second employee did leave the company, as the attrition is yes. Looking at these 2 employees, we can predict ourselves if the other 2 employees who might be new might leave IBM or not. So looking at the third employee, he has very similar values to the first example of an employee. For example, the salary is 4,000, which is very close to 5,000. His distance from home is 7, which is relatively far and also very similar to 9. His job involvement is 9, which is also very similar to 10. And he doesn't work overtime, which is also exactly the same as the first employee. So it is very easy to predict that this employee will not leave the company, since the first employee also did not leave the company. But what about the fourth employee here? Some of the values are similar to the second employee, and some are similar to the first employee. This employee earns well and has a high job involvement, but his distance from home is very far and he works overtime. So what do you think his attrition will be? We know that it's very difficult to predict this employee's attrition. It can be both yes and no. This is why in the real world, we use a large data set to make predictions. The larger number of employees that we have and the attributes that we use, the higher the accuracy rate would be and the easier it would be to make predictions for every employee. Let me show you the data set that I will be using today. I'll switch from my PowerPoint presentation to the Excel sheet that I have opened with the data. Here you can see that we have tons of data available with over 1,000 employees here and a lot more attributes. For us to go through this data and try to predict the attrition of that fourth employee will be very, very difficult, right? This is why we have the machine learning models to do that for us. We will take this data, clean it up a bit, and then create a machine learning models that will utilize this data and predict an attrition for any employee. All right, let me switch back to my PowerPoint now. Now we'll be showing you the demo. Here are the steps that we will follow. We will create the Watson Studio service on IBM Cloud. We will then create a new Watson Studio project and upload the data that I showed you earlier. We will refine and clean this data a little bit. Then we will create this data. We will create and deploy a machine learning model. Finally, we will visualize and test the model. Now I'll switch over to my browser where I have the IBM Cloud open. This is the IBM Cloud dashboard. You will see on this page, you will arrive on this page once you sign up to IBM Cloud. You can go to IBM Cloud using this link, cloud.ibm.com. So let's go ahead and create the Watson Studio service. To do that, click on Create Resource. You will then land on the catalog page with all the available services to choose from. Click on the AI part on the left and then select Watson Studio. This is the Watson Studio service creation page. You can leave all the values as all the fields as default values. IBM Cloud takes care of that for you, such as the service name, the deployment region closest to you. You can choose how to organize your resources by choosing a resource group and any tags you feel like to group your resources. If you scroll down, you will see the light plan. The free plan is already selected here, so we can go ahead and click on Create. However, you can see the message here, which says that I have already created a service in my account, so I don't need to create another. But once you do create the service, you will land on this page. So let's go ahead and get started with the IBM Watson Studio service. You can click on Get Started. Once you click on Get Started, you will land on this page. This is the home page of IBM Watson Studio. You can create a project over here, see all the projects that you're working on, all the Watson services that you have integrated with your IBM Watson Studio account. We have an amazing community in Watson Studio for helping you in various projects, articles for helping you learn more, notebooks for tackling many use cases. You can think of notebooks as documents that contain live code, visualizations, and equations. It basically is a ways to integrate tools for data cleaning, modeling, and much more, just all in one place. And also you have many tutorials to help you get started with IBM Watson Studio and its features. You can go ahead and explore the community and bookmark any one of them that you like and use them in your own projects. Finally, we have the helpful links for more information on Watson Studio. So let's go ahead and create a project. You will find a lot of different types of projects available here. However, we will just go with standard, which is a central place to collaborate and organize resources such as data assets, notebooks, and models. You can add your name, your description. You can restrict collaborators if you have any confidential information, and associate your project with an IBM, with an object storage. If you don't have one, you can click on this tab on the link and create one easily. Finally, once you have the storage set, you can click on Create. I already have a project created and a tab open, so I'll go ahead and switch to that tab. This is what you will see once you create a project. This is the project overview page. Here you can look at your date created. You can look at all your descriptions, the storage, the different collaborators that you have, all the bookmarked articles, notebooks, and tutorials that you might have found in the community section, any recent activities that you or your team might have done to the project. If you want to add data assets, like the Excel file that you saw earlier to this project, you can go ahead and click on this icon over here, which is the Find and Add Data icon. And you will see this menu in which you can drag and drop your file. Here is my file inside the folder called Data. I'll give you the link of this file at the end of the session. You can also find this data asset in our course, which is a Predict Employee Turnover course on the IBM Digital Nation Africa website. Once you have downloaded the zip file and extracted it, you can drag this and drop it over here. And once you do that, it will be added to your assets. So as you can see, I have two data assets available here. The second one is the one we dragged and dropped. The first one is the same data set as the second one, but it's the clean version. Just to save time, I've already cleaned this data set and uploaded it over here. But before using this data set, I'll show you the steps required to clean this data. To clean this data, you have to click on the actions icon here and click on Refine. Once you do that, you will land on this page. Here you can see all the data that we saw earlier. Now, how do we know what each column represents? What are different values stored in each of them? We have this amazing profile tab over here that helps us with that. This tab helps us summarize and visualize all the columns and their values. For example, let's look at the age column over here. If I hover over the first bar over here, it says 3551 occurrences. This means that there are 51 occurrences, or 51 times that the age of 35 is mentioned throughout this dataset. This means that there are 51 people who have the age of 35 in our dataset. Same goes for the next one, 34. 49 people are of the age of 34, and so on. You can also see the maximum and minimum length over here, which is 2, which means that the range of ages in our data set is from 10 to 99, and they're all 2 digits values. In this column, we have 43 unique values, meaning that there are 43 different age groups available in the data set. The next column is the one we will use to predict using our model. Now, as you move on in this data set, you can continue understanding the data by doing the same thing that we did with the first column. But there might be some columns which might not make sense. And you might think that if it's necessary to keep them in our data set. Let's take an example. Here you can see that all the values are of the number 1, meaning that the employees count for every single row in this data set has a value of 1. This is something obvious and doesn't need any meaning, doesn't add any meaning to our data set, and also will not add any value to our model later on. So this is the column that we need to filter out or delete. Another example could be the employee number. Here we have all the values which are unique. So this value is basically just like an email ID. Every single employee has their own unique ID, and this doesn't add any value to our data set or to our model later on. all the values are different, due to which there won't be any pattern recognition. So we can also safely go ahead and remove this too. If you go ahead looking at these columns, you will find much more data which needs to be cleaned and deleted. But just to save time, I'll show you how to delete the first two columns that we just selected. Let's go back to the data tab. Let's find the columns that we want, the employee count and the employee number. We can click on this action icon on the right and click on remove. We have removed the employee count column. We can do the same with employee number. Once both of them have been removed, they have been stored as steps on the right hand side over here. Do note that these columns have not been removed yet. They're just showing us the steps on the right, which are ready to run, ready to be removed. So in order for these two columns to be removed, or in order for all the steps to be processed, we need to click on this icon over here. This will run the data refinery flow and clean the data for us based on the steps that we mentioned. So once you click on this play icon, choose the output data that you want to receive. So basically, once we save and run this flow, we will have a new file, which will be the clean data set, and you can rename that data file to anything that you want. We can call it the clean data set, and we can save and run flow. Since I have already done this, and just to save time, I'll show you how it looks like once you run the flow. It shows here that I have cleaned out 4 steps in my original data set. And the output is called demo shaped employee attrition shaped, and it shows here that it's completed, and 1,400 columns have been modified. Once this is done, the output file will be back in the data assets section that you saw earlier. So once this is done, we can go ahead and add the machine learning model. To do that, you click on Add to Project and click on Watson Machine Learning Model. Here you can add your model name, the description. You can associate it with the machine learning service. You can select the type of model that you want to build using a model builder, using from a file, from a sample. There are many templates available online which you can use to also create a model. We will select the default runtime, which is Spark Scala, and we will choose a manual option and click Create. Since I have already created this for you, and just to save time, I've processed all the machine learning steps. I will go through them one by one. This is the first page that you see when you start creating your machine learning model. Here you're given the 2 data assets that are available to you in this project. You can choose any one of them. We will have to work with demo shaped employee attrition dataset and click Next. Once you click Next, you will land on the Train tab of the Watson Machine Learning model. Here you need to select a technique for your model. To do that, you need to first select the prediction or the label column, which is in our case the attrition column. Then we select all the feature columns which are available in our dataset, which are all the columns that we will want to use to predict the label column, which is the attrition column. In our case, the feature columns will be all the columns, since we want to use all of them to predict attrition. Then we select which method we want to use in our model. There are 3 main types that we can choose from. First one is the binary classification, which is used if the prediction column is binary, like true or false, or 0 or 1, etc. Multi-class classification is used if your prediction column has more than 1 attributes or categories. Regression technique is used when your prediction column has numeric values. Since we want to predict yes or no, such as true and false, we will use the binary classification method. Then we add all the estimators, which are like different algorithms that we will use for binary classification. Once you add them, all four of them will be displayed here. We just need one of them, and Watson Studio will help us evaluate all these algorithms or estimators and choose the best one for us automatically. Finally, we have the validation split, which is basically used for testing purposes. Here we are saying that we, out of the 100% of the data, we are using 60% of them to train the model, 20% to test, and 20% of the values are being held out. After all of this is done, we click Next, and then go to the next and final tab of the Watson machine learning model. Here, as you can see, all the estimators have already been trained and evaluated. And the best one has already been selected for us, which is the logistic regression, with an accuracy of 82% and the precision of 49%. Once this is done, we go ahead and click on Save. Once you click on Save, you will land on your model overview. Here you can find all the details of your model. You can evaluate your model, and finally you can deploy your model. Deploy a model, you click on Add Deployment, add a name and description, select a web service, and then save it. Once you do that, you will land on this screen. Here you will see the overview of your deployed model. If you want to integrate this with any of your applications, click on the Implementation tab. The amazing thing about Watson Studio is that it gives us the code snippets required to integrate this with your applications. You can have code snippets for Curl, Java, JavaScript, Python, and Scala. You just need to enter your authorization tokens inside these code snippets, which you'll find in your IBM Cloud Deployed Services section, and you will be good to go. However, you can also test the model directly using the built-in UI and the Test tab here. Just add your input values, such as age over here, and click on Predict. As you can see, the result graph shown on the right shows that for a person with the age of 24, the attrition value is less. But this is obviously inaccurate, as we haven't added any other values, just the age value for one of the employees. And since it's very time consuming and difficult to add all the values of all the attributes of a data set, we have another tab over here called JSON tab, which is an object used to store data. Using this object, all the fields will be entered automatically. I already have a JSON object with me here, so I'll go ahead and copy paste that. You can also find this JSON object in the course Predict Employee Turnover in the last module of the exercise. And there you have it. We just predicted our employee attrition using our own data for an employee. You can go ahead and play around with the values and see what results that you get. This is the end of our demo. And let me quickly just show you the course that we have used in the demo, which is the Predicting Employee Turnover course. As you can see, this is the Innovative section, and we are on the Build tab. You can go ahead and click on Getting Started with Data Center Analytics that I showed you earlier, and click on Predict Employee Turnover using IBM Watson Studio. Here you can find the Getting Started modules, which gives you an introduction to IBM data science and to the Predict Employee Turnover use case. Then you can find all the exercise steps over here. For each of these steps or modules, we have a video that will help you follow the steps, or you can also download the updated UI version PDF and keep it with you offline in case you want to go through the steps and have and want to follow the steps using a PDF version. You can also download the CSV dataset that we use today using this link, and you can also finally take the quiz at the end of this course and get your IBM Digital Nation badge. At the end, we also have the next step section through which you can learn more about data science, know what are the next steps you need to do for becoming a data scientist. Now I will switch back to my presentation. These are all the data science courses available on our platform, starting from the basic video-based course that I introduced to you in the Explore section. This is a video-based course which explains basic data science principles and its use cases. Then we have the 3 innovative section courses that help you build using data science and get your hands wet with IBM Watson Studio. The demo that we did today follows the first course here, but there are 2 more courses that you can take in the innovative section. And other than that, we have 6 new color data science courses which cover advanced topics in data science and get you ready for your data scientist journey. Since this is a re-recorded session, I will answer all the questions that we have received in the live webinar. A user asked, what does Watson mean? Watson is IBM's platform of AI services, applications, and tooling. It was named after the IBM's first CEO, which is Thomas J. Watson, and was originally developed to answer questions in the quiz show called Jeopardy! It used algorithms, artificial intelligence, and a wealth of data to fully understand the questions and return as precise an answer as possible to the question. Now it has expanded to a wide variety of commercial applications, including driving new IoT capabilities with blockchain, data science, security, cloud, and other technologies to gain insights from the billions of sensors embedded in machines, appliances, cars, and even hospitals. Today, we have just a small part of IBM Watson, which is Watson Studio, but there is a lot more to be offered. You can go ahead to ibm.com/Watson, or even to our platform, which is www.digitalnationafrica.com, to learn more about how to use IBM Watson. Another question that I received in the live webinar was if the course is free. Yes, the course is absolutely free on IBM Digital Nation Africa platform, and it's for everyone to use and learn from in Africa. You can go ahead once again to www.digitalnationafrica.com and go through the Predict Employee Turnover course, which is what we discussed in today's webinar. Next, we received a question which was, can I use Watson with TensorFlow? That's a great question. And for those who don't know, TensorFlow is an open source machine learning library that is used by many data scientists around the world for large-scale computation and machine learning. And yes, you can definitely use TensorFlow with IBM Watson. I'll send a couple of links in the chat at the bottom, which you can open by clicking at the chat icon. And in these links, you will find some of the ways in which you can integrate TensorFlow with IBM Watson. Here are all the other resources for this webinar. You can go ahead and download the presentation and access all these links. The amazing thing about this session and the model that we created is that you got an understanding of an entire process. And then after that, you can use this model to predict many other scenarios, like predicting cancer, predicting heart rate failures, predicting if your favorite team will win the World Cup, and much more. The possibilities are endless with data science, and I hope I was able to get you started with that in this webinar. Make sure you join our Facebook group to be up to date with the new content and courses uploaded to the platform and know about any upcoming webinars. Search for IBM Digital Nation in Facebook search or go to the link provided over here. Finally, here's my email. If you have any questions, feel free to email me anytime. And once again, here's the link to our platform. Thank you and take care. Goodbye.